Good morning, tractors. And here we are again today at Knowles Garden Tractors and Firewood. And it doesn't seem to be much firewood lately. Kind of got stopped on my piling here. I got to get back at that. And got a lot of wood to cut and split and store. And anyway, seems that the garden tractors seem to want to be breaking down, and it's taken up a lot of time, I guess. So anyway, we're going to have a little update here on, for some that watch the videos and may not know what is going on. I have this Case 224 garden tractor, and I bought it, I guess, probably 2022 in August of that year. And at that time, it didn't, the pump didn't work in it, and I knew that when I bought it. And this is the original pump out of that tractor. So what was going on with this pump is that it snapped off the input shaft. So it seized up internally somehow and snapped off the shaft. And so I somehow found on the internet a fellow in Ontario selling the pump. So I contacted him, and he said that he had two pumps. So I said I'd take both of them. So it was this one and this one. Both the same pump other than the inlet tube. So I get my story straight here, I guess. So anyway, I ended up having trouble. This pump is the one that I put on the Case 224 to repair it when I bought it, and it had been working great until a couple of weeks ago she started spewing oil out the side of it. And what was going on was there was a piece of the O-ring gasket sticking out the side of here where the two halves meet together, and they're bolted together there. That's how the pump goes together. So anyway, what I found was, eventually got the, if you saw the video yesterday, I guess, got the pump out, and I found that these two bolts were loose. So the internal pressure from the pump pushed the oil ring out through that little groove there, which caused the leak. Now at this point, the tractor is still moving and still running and driving. These tractors are hydraulically driven, so you have this pump on the back of the engine producing pressure and flow, and that sends that to a hydraulic motor which is hooked to the rear transaxle to move the tractor. So anyway, oil coming out everywhere, and the pump was still working so that the tractor would move. So I figured, well, I guess I did get a look at it and seen the O-ring coming out. So I figured, well, if I just replace the O-ring, maybe things will be all right. So in this original pump, there was a good O-ring. So I figured I could just switch them. Anyway, I ended up finding, when I took it apart, that this shaft here got a little piece broke out of it. So I thought that's kind of different. So anyway, I took that keyway, or the key out of here, and I tried to turn this, and it was extremely hard to turn. So I got out the other pump that I have, that I bought at the same time when I bought this pump, and I tried turning it, and it turned very easy. And I said, aha, something is wrong. So I took it apart, took them 4 bolts out of there, took the halves apart, and sure enough, this pump is starting to do the same thing that this pump did. The gears are grinding into the side of the case here. So that's not good. So that's, we have a broken shaft here, and we have gears in here that are chewing on the inside of the case. Although this was still working. Now I don't know if having these 2 bolts loose and causing the O-ring to come out through the side of it, would that cause enough, maybe a little bit of movement here, so that the end of the gears here are running in a bushing in the back side here. So if this moved a little bit, then these gears would be over this way a little bit and be chewing on the side of the case inside here, is what my guess is. And that's exactly what happened to this one. And it got to the point where it broke the shaft off. A 9/16 shaft. It's not very big, but anyway, so anyway, I guess I was hoping to reuse this pump, but I'm not sure if I'm going to or not, because I kind of want to have a spare, and that was the spare. So now the other problem is I could put this pump on, but it's got a different inlet on it. So I thought about maybe taking the backside off of this one and putting it on this pump. So, but that involves me making trouble for myself, more than likely, the way things go for me. Then I thought, well, maybe I could get the tube out of get the tubes out of here and out of here, and I could just switch them. But they're pressed in, and I don't know how you'd ever get them out or get them in. Getting them in might not be so bad, but getting them out, I don't know. So my next thinking is I'm going to have to try maybe and go to somewhere to find some inch hose and inch 45 fitting or something to go here, so that it will go into the original hose that goes on here, which is quite a difference in the way they're shaped there. And there's not much clearance, so the edge of the tractor is probably about there where the hood is, or the cowling from the side of the tractor. So there's not a lot of room to take that hose. It's a fairly big hose, and twist it so it'll go onto that, and it may not be long enough to begin with. So there's going to be some thinking have to go on with that, but I guess that's probably my only bet at the moment, is to use this pump and try and fit up something for that. That is inch there. So I'll have to try and find fittings and a little bit of hose or something to make that fit, because I know I could put that one back in, but I know what the troubles are with it, so I don't know whether to do that or not. So that's about where I'm at it with this thing. So anyway, yeah, so if you have a case tractor with this kind of a pump and that kind of a drive system, it mightn't hurt for you to check those 4 bolts on the back here just to make sure that they're tight. Because if they're not tight, you're going to have trouble. I think that's about all I can think of for now. Like I say, I'm kind of doing this so that the people that see the videos that are new to it or just come upon the videos and watch them and and they don't know the backstory of the thing, I'm hoping that kind of helps with that by explaining a little bit here today. I'm not real good at explaining stuff, so hopefully I got the point across, I guess so. Anyway, once I figure out what I'm going to do, which I pretty well have it figured out, I think, I'm going to be using that pump. And then I'm going to have to start looking for a spare. Or try and find a pump that's new that you could buy off the shelf that would fit and do the same thing. Because I have another case tractor also, and yeah, it's got the same kind of pump on it, so I'm kind of nervous of that one going now. Anyway, all right, I guess that's going to be it for now. I am going to go to a place today and see what I can find for fittings, and then we'll see how that goes, I guess. And then we'll have another video of me trying to get the pump back in and see how that works. It's going to be more thinking on that because I'm not sure how I did it. Although I did put the pump, that one in it. I can't remember how I did it, so I'm going to have to do more thinking and probably take more stuff apart, I would say. Anyway, it's just time-consuming work to get the pump in or out, and but once it's in there and you have everything put in, it's, you put the tray in and you put the heat divider in and you put the battery in, and that only takes a few minutes to do. But anyway, so I'm going to get it going, and I got other things to do today. I think I'll be using the other case tractor with the loader on it, and a few things I want to do at my son's place there, and all kinds of things to do. Lists of stuff. Oh boy, oh boy. Anyway, have a great day wherever you're at and whatever you're doing, and hopefully this kind of clears up some things for the new viewers. Well, I thought of some things, and I'm back again now. Anyway, I want to kind of show, if I can, what goes on inside these pumps. If I can get the light to cooperate. Anyway, you can kind of see the gouges there on both upper gears and lower gears in the case. So it's chewing away at the case. Now this is the old one that was on the tractor originally. And what I'm seeing in this one is the start of the same thing as that. So I would say over time that would seize, and like what happened to this one, it broke the shaft. It broke that shaft right off. So I'm not, yeah, anyway. What I didn't mention is I don't know if maybe this shaft is bent. So I'm going to try and look at that somehow. And I did get a coupling for here. I'm still going to try and find a piece of hose to go between there and the coupling. And then the coupling would go into the original hose. So I think I'm going to have to put this one on, and hopefully it works. Now I have no idea. You know, I was gambling when I bought them because the fellow said that they were rebuilt. Now, who would really know if they were or not? And he said they worked, so that's all I had to go by. So anyway, obviously this one worked when I put it in, so that was good. So I'm kind of figuring that this one will work too, but it's always the case where it may not. So I think that's the one that's going to go into the tractor. This one here, I'm going to do a little more thinking, and I did more thinking already today, but because this one was working when it started to leak, I'm kind of wondering if I can maybe smooth up the inside of the case somehow and do a little more looking, I guess, at the gears and see if the gears, they go into those bushings there, the ends, and see if they're real loose or not or whatever. Just try and figure out if I could fix this one up enough to make it run again, and do a little more thinking on what I'm going to do with that, where it's broke there on the shaft. Like I say, get that smoothed out so that the gears spin around without gouging into the case. That's what I'm going to try and think of how to do that. Then I would at least maybe have a spare pump. Now, smoothing this out is going to make this a little bigger, so my only thought would be is the pump may not make as much pressure or flow, but it really wouldn't make a whole lot of difference if it's not that much worse, you know. So that's kind of the plan at the moment. I'm certainly no gear pump expert by any means. I just a backyard fellow trying to fix up something. Anyway, but I do think I'm going to have to start looking for more of these, or find a pump that I could buy, let's say at Princess Auto, that's just would fit, and basically you could just go buy the pump, put it on if something happens. Anyway, hopefully that kind of clears up things for the new viewers. You know, you never know who's going to be viewing. If all of a sudden somebody sees a post on a case tractor, they might look at it and then have no real knowledge of the history or what went on beforehand. So that's was part of my point of this video anyway. So I'm, as I say, when I'm rambling, that makes the video long. And so we'll cut her off again now and see what is going to happen today. Today is going to be my favorite job, weed whacking. Yeah. So maybe tomorrow I may get to my son's place and I'll see if I can find a piece of hose, take the other fitting, and then see if that is going to fit or what I have to do to get it back in there. Because I don't think it's going to go back in the way I took this one out. So anyway, have a great day wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, and sorry for all the rambling.